Listen carefully. Your mind is not free. It has been programmed since birth by parents, by teachers, by society, by enemies who smile as friends. And because of this programming, you think small, act soft, and settle for scraps. But Machiavelli taught a ruthless truth. Men are shaped by forces they do not see. And unless you break that conditioning, you will live like the herd, obedient, predictable, disposable. Reprogramming your mindset is not motivation. It is not positive thinking. It is war. War against the lies you were fed. War against the weakness built into you. War against the invisible strings that pull you like a puppet. To win, you must destroy the old code and replace it with one built on power, strategy, and control. That is the Machiavellian way. Here, inside Mental Fort, we don't chase comfort. We forge minds into weapons. And tonight, you begin that transformation. Stamp this truth into the comments right now. My mind is mine to command. Write it, claim it, burn it into yourself. This is your awakening. The first step toward becoming untouchable. 2. Breaking the old code. Your mind has been programmed to keep you weak. Every system around you benefits from your obedience. They tell you to be polite, to suppress ambition, to wait your turn. They feed you comfort so you never hunger for greatness. This is not education. This is conditioning, a cage disguised as safety. Machiavelli knew people are ruled not by truth, but by belief. And what you believe about yourself becomes the chains you carry. If you believe you are powerless, you act powerless. If you believe success is impossible, you never fight for it. The first step to reprogramming your mindset is to break this code, to burn the old beliefs to ash. Stop repeating the lies society gave you. Stop calling limits realism. Stop mistaking obedience for virtue. Weakness is not noble. Poverty is not destiny. Fear is not protection. These are the illusions planted in you so others can rule you. Breaking the code means questioning everything. Who benefits when you doubt yourself? Who gains when you waste time on distraction? Who profits from your silence, your inaction, your submission? Once you see the chains, you can break them. But breaking is not enough. You must replace. The old program must be rewritten with discipline, strategy, and self-command. Without this, the void will pull you back into weakness. If you understand, declare it in the comments. I destroy the old code. This is the fire that clears the path for the new. 3. Installing ruthless discipline. Once the old code is shattered, the void opens. And here most men fail. They break their chains, but never build a new structure. They confuse freedom with chaos. They drift, wasting time, chasing pleasures, falling back into slavery. You cannot afford that. Freedom without discipline is self-destruction. Machiavelli understood this deeply. The prince who cannot command himself cannot command a state. The man who cannot master his own impulses will always be ruled by others. Discipline is the foundation of every fortress, and your mind must become a fortress. Ruthless discipline is not about comfort. It is about command. Wake when you say you will wake. Work when you say you will work. Train when you say you will train. Every act of self-control engraves a new program into your brain. I obey myself, not my weakness. Do not rely on motivation. Motivation is a beggar. Discipline is a king. The man who waits to feel like it is already defeated. The man who acts regardless of feeling is untouchable. This will hurt at first. You will fight laziness, distraction, the craving for pleasure. But every battle you win rewires you. Every sacrifice you make reprograms you. Soon, what felt impossible becomes your nature. And when others see you, they won't understand how you work with precision, how you hold control, how you move forward while they stall. That confusion is your power. Build rituals, guard your time, treat your word to yourself as law. Fail once, and you weaken the code. Keep the law unbroken, and you become unstoppable. Write it in the comments now. Discipline is my new code. Engrave it, repeat it, live it, because without ruthless discipline, no man can rise. But with it, you will walk above the herd, untouchable, inevitable. 4. Mastering emotional detachment. Emotions are the strings that turn men into puppets. Rage, jealousy, despair, pride, each one a leash. And the world knows how to pull those leashes. Politicians stir fear, merchants spark desire, enemies ignite anger, friends exploit guilt. If you cannot control your emotions, you will never control your life. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must learn to appear compassionate, faithful, humane, and religious, but never actually be enslaved by these things. Why? Because emotion clouds judgment, and when judgment is clouded, power slips away. You must master emotional detachment. Detachment does not mean you feel nothing. It means you own what you feel. Anger can become a weapon, but only when unleashed at the right moment. Sadness can become a teacher, but only when reflected on privately. Joy can become strength, but only when restrained. The weak react, the strong calculate. Think of the man who explodes in anger at insult. He reveals his weakness. Think of the man who sulks when fortune turns. He loses respect. Think of the man who celebrates too loudly in victory. He invites predators. But the detached man, he remains unmoved, calm when provoked, stoic when tested, cold when betrayed. His enemies cannot predict him. His allies cannot manipulate him. He becomes unreadable, untouchable. Train this daily. When insulted, smile faintly and say nothing. When tempted, delay your decision. When enraged, lock your tongue in silence until your logic decides the move. With time, detachment becomes armor. If you grasp this, write in the comments, "I own my emotions, they don't own me." That is the creed of the untouchable. 5. The power of perception and masks. Reality is shaped not by truth, but by perception. Men do not see the world as it is. They see the world through their fears, desires, and illusions. Machiavelli taught that it is not necessary for a ruler to actually be virtuous, only to appear virtuous. Why? Because men judge by appearances, not by substance. Your mask is your shield, your weapon, your disguise. Without it, you are naked before predators. Too many men worship authenticity. They expose every emotion, confess every weakness, bleed their souls in public, and what happens? They are exploited, ridiculed, controlled. Authenticity without power is suicide. You must build masks deliberately. In moments of weakness, wear the mask of strength. In moments of rage, wear the mask of calm. In moments of plotting, wear the mask of innocence. The world sees what you allow it to see. Nothing more, nothing less. This does not mean lying at every step. It means control, choosing what to reveal and what to hide. Just as a king never lets his court see all his plans, you must never let the crowd read your core. Think of the fox and the lion. The lion terrifies with strength, the fox deceives with cunning. Your mask allows you to play both roles, visible power and hidden intelligence, at will. One day, feared. The next, underestimated. The mask confuses, disarms, and protects. Understand this. The mask is not betrayal of yourself. It is preservation of yourself. You are not abandoning authenticity. You are weaponizing it. You reveal the version of you that serves your purpose. If you understand, mark it in the comments. My mask is my weapon. Etch it into your identity, because those who walk naked are devoured. But those who master perception rule both enemies and allies. 6. Cold psychology of human nature, expanded approximately 700 words. If you want to reprogram your mind for true success, you must begin with a truth most men fear to face. Human nature is not noble. It is not pure. It is not kind. Human nature is selfish, envious, fearful, and easily manipulated. Machiavelli did not sugarcoat this. He wrote plainly, "Men are ungrateful, fickle, liars, deceivers, and greedy for gain," not because he hated men, but because he understood them. And this is your advantage. Once you see people as they are, not as you wish them to be, you stop being surprised, you stop being hurt, you stop being weak. Instead, you begin to maneuver. Think about it. The friend who swears loyalty today may betray tomorrow if he sees greater benefit elsewhere. The ally who praises you in public may envy you in secret. The crowd that cheers for you when you rise will abandon you when you stumble. None of this is personal, it is simply nature. If you expect eternal loyalty, you are naive. If you expect constant gratitude, you are foolish. If you expect fairness, you are already lost. Cold psychology means removing illusions. Look at every person and ask, what does this person want? What fear drives them? What weakness blinds them? Once you know their desires, you can tempt them. Once you know their fears, you can control them. Once you know their envy, you can weaponize it. People are predictable when their emotions are exposed, and predictable people are easy to rule. But while you study others, you must also discipline yourself. Never let your own emotions make you predictable. Never allow rage, lust, or greed to control your moves. The man who can be provoked is the man who can be controlled. If someone can anger you at will, they own you. If someone can tempt you easily, they manipulate you. If someone can flatter you into foolishness, they are your master. To be untouchable, you must flip the game, control their emotions, while remaining in control of yours. This is why Machiavelli advised that it is safer to be feared than loved. Love is unstable. Love depends on constant effort. Fear, however, is reliable. When people fear the consequences of crossing you, they restrain themselves. When people see you as unreadable, they hesitate. Your power grows not from begging for affection, but from commanding respect. Understand this: manipulation is not evil, it is nature. Every advertisement manipulates, every politician manipulates, every relationship manipulates at some level. The weak are manipulated unconsciously. The strong manipulate consciously. You must decide which you will be, the pawn or the player. Cold psychology also means never mourning betrayal. Expect it, prepare for it, and ensure you survive it. Loyalty is rare, and even when given, it has an expiration date. That is why the untouchable man builds systems of dependence. He ensures that others need him more than he needs them. He ensures that betrayal is costly, and he ensures that, when the inevitable shift comes, he already has the next move prepared. Think of the difference. The naive man gives trust freely, then collapses when it is broken. The Machiavellian man trusts no one fully, and therefore is never broken. The naive man believes people are good deep down. The Machiavellian man knows people act from self-interest, and therefore he can predict them. The naive man is shocked by envy, betrayal, or deceit. The Machiavellian man expects it, and therefore turns it into advantage. This is the reprogramming of your mind. Stop seeing the world as it should be, and start seeing it as it is. Once you do, your decisions become sharper, your strategy colder, your control unshakable. Stamp this into the comments now. I see human nature clearly. Because when you see, you cannot be blinded, and when you understand, you cannot be deceived. From this clarity, you stop being a victim of the game, and you become the one who sets the rules. 7. The fortress of isolation and strategy. Power is never built in the open. It is conceived in silence, sharpened in solitude, and unleashed only when the time is right. Every great empire, every legendary general, every calculating ruler understood this. Isolation is not weakness. Isolation is the forge. Strategy is the fire. Most men cannot tolerate being alone. Silence terrifies them. Their own thoughts feel like chains, so they bury themselves in noise, endless gossip, trivial entertainment, pointless conversations. They fear solitude because it exposes them. It shows them the truth of their wasted potential. But the man who embraces solitude transforms it into strength. Machiavelli himself, banished from politics, spent his exile in isolation. He sat in his small study, reading the histories of Rome, of Greece, of ancient rulers. Out of that solitude was born The Prince, a book that would shape power for centuries. His enemies thought him defeated, but his strategy, born in silence, outlived them all. That is the lesson. Silence is not the end. It is preparation. Isolation clears the fog of the crowd. In solitude, you can ask yourself the questions no one else dares to ask. What do I truly want? What am I building? Who are my enemies? Who pretends to be my ally? What moves must I make today, tomorrow, and years from now? Only in silence can these answers surface. But solitude without discipline rots into idleness. This is why you must pair isolation with strategy. Strategy is your map through the chaos. Strategy is what separates the reckless fighter from the calculating general. The reckless man charges. The strategic man waits, studies, and strikes when the outcome is inevitable. Think of life as a battlefield. The naive rush forward, hungry for quick wins, blind to traps. They may taste short-term success, but soon they fall. The strategist studies the terrain. He observes his opponents. He plans supply lines, morale, timing. He knows victory is not won in the clash. It is won in the planning before the clash. And when the moment comes, his strike is swift and final. This is how you must design your life. Stop living on reaction. Stop drifting from distraction to distraction. Step back. Map the game. Where do you want to be in 1 year? In 5? Who are the players you must surpass? What resources must you accumulate? What weaknesses must you hide? What strengths must you sharpen? When you have this clarity, every move you make is deliberate, and deliberate moves compound into domination. Isolation also protects you from infection by the herd. The crowd is emotional, panicked, impulsive. Stay too close, and their chaos becomes your chaos. Step back, and suddenly you see patterns they cannot. You begin to predict their moves, to anticipate their shifts. From that distance, you can manipulate the energy of the herd while never being consumed by it. This does not mean you vanish forever. Strategy requires engagement, but only on your terms. Enter the crowd when it serves your plan. Withdraw when it distracts. Appear when your presence commands advantage. Disappear when silence sharpens your blade. You must become the ghost who appears and vanishes at will, never chained, never trapped. Remember this, your solitude is your fortress, and like any fortress, it must be defended. Guard your time, guard your focus, guard your mental space. Let only the worthy enter, the undisciplined waste energy, the envious poison ambition, the weak drain strength. Keep them at the gates. Inside your fortress there is only clarity, only planning, only preparation. This is why the strongest men in history always had retreats, chambers, inner sanctums. They were never endlessly accessible. Their power depended on their ability to withdraw, to calculate, and to return stronger than before. You must model the same. A man who cannot stand alone will never stand above. A man who cannot plan in silence will never command in chaos. Isolation without strategy is emptiness. Strategy without isolation is noise. Combined, they create inevitability. Declare it now in the comments. My solitude builds my strategy. Etch it into your mind. Because when you master isolation and strategy, you no longer live by chance. You dictate the battlefield. 8. The alchemy of money and power. Money. The word alone provokes emotion, desire, envy, fear, pride. Most men are ruled by it. They chase it like dogs chasing scraps. They spend it recklessly to feel important. They flaunt it to impress people who secretly laugh at them. But here lies the Machiavellian truth. Money is not status. Money is not comfort. Money is not vanity. Money is power when you control it. Think of money as soldiers. Each coin, each note, each digital unit is a warrior under your command. Now ask yourself, are your soldiers disciplined or are they deserting you? Most men send their soldiers to die in useless battles, expensive gadgets, shallow pleasures, hollow luxuries. They weaken their fortress by bleeding their army on vanity. Then, when the storms of life come, they stand defenseless. But the untouchable man treats money as an army to be trained, stationed, and deployed with precision. He invests his soldiers where they will multiply. He uses them to secure resources, to build fortresses, to purchase leverage. His wealth fights for him, even while he sleeps. Machiavelli warned rulers not to rely on fortune, but to build stability through foresight. Money is that stability. The ruler who spends carelessly on public games and excess feasts wins short-term applause, but long-term ruin. The ruler who invests in defenses, alliances, and reserves outlasts both enemies and fortune. Apply this to your own life. The applause of envy means nothing. What matters is endurance. And here is a law: flaunted wealth invites predators. When you show your riches, you awaken envy. Envy breeds resentment. Resentment breeds betrayal. The wise ruler conceals his true power. He appears modest while secretly stacking gold, forging alliances, and strengthening his foundation. Hidden wealth is a fortress. Visible wealth is a target. Do not confuse modest appearance with mediocrity. Modesty is strategy. While others waste to appear powerful, you quietly build true power. While they seek validation, you secure independence. They will burn for status symbols. You will wait until they beg you for help. Understand this also. Money is not the goal. Freedom is the goal. Money is the weapon that buys you freedom. Freedom to walk away. Freedom to say no. Freedom to choose. Without financial control, you are a slave, no matter how strong you pretend to be. A man drowning in debt cannot be ruthless. A man begging for wages cannot be untouchable. True freedom comes when your resources obey you, not the other way around. So how do you reprogram your relationship with money? Begin with discipline. Treat every dollar as a soldier. Do not waste them. Do not send them to meaningless battles. Ask yourself, does this purchase strengthen my fortress, or does it weaken it? Does this expense bring me leverage, or does it chain me? Ruthless self-control in spending is the first law. Second, build reserves. Money in hand is not just currency, it is confidence. It is calmness in chaos. It is the ability to stand firm when others panic. Machiavelli compared fortune to a river. When calm, it can be managed. When wild, it floods and destroys. The man with reserves survives the flood. The man without drowns. Third, deploy money with strategy. Invest in knowledge, in health, in skills, in networks. These are assets that cannot be stolen easily. Buy tools that increase your independence. Fund ventures that multiply soldiers instead of wasting them. Each move should be cold, deliberate, unshakable. And remember, never let money rule your identity. A man who spends to impress is already weak. A man who boasts of wealth reveals insecurity. The untouchable man does not scream his status. He does not need to. His calm presence, his freedom of choice, his ability to walk away, these are louder than any luxury. Picture two men, one draped in designer clothes, flashing jewelry, desperate for recognition. The other dressed plainly, but with silent confidence, because he knows his fortress is stocked, his army of wealth disciplined, his future secured. Who is more powerful? The answer is obvious. This is alchemy, the transformation of money from vanity into power, from scraps into soldiers, from chains into freedom. If you understand this, declare it in the comments. My money is my army. Write it, believe it, live it. Because when your money obeys you, you no longer bow to anyone. You dictate, you decide, you endure. And that endurance, that quiet, ruthless control, is the foundation of power. 9. Transformation into the untouchable. Everything has led to this point. The silence, the masks, the discipline, the money, the psychology, the strategy. All of it was preparation for one thing: transformation. The forging of a man who is untouchable. What does it mean to be untouchable? It does not mean you are free from pain, loss, or struggle. No man escapes those. It means that nothing breaks you. It means that betrayal does not shatter you. It means that setbacks do not define you. It means that storms may come, but your fortress stands. Untouchable is not about immunity. It is about invincibility of spirit. The untouchable man is deliberate. His words are measured. His actions are calculated. His silence unnerves. His presence commands. He does not rush to prove himself. He does not beg for loyalty. He does not seek applause. His power is internal, rooted in discipline and clarity. Think of the opposite, the fragile man. His emotions are his master. His money slips through his hands. His mind wanders like a drunk soldier. His mask is non-existent. Everyone sees his weakness. He bends to fortune, collapses under stress, obeys his fears. This man is clay in the hands of stronger men. He is disposable, forgettable, ordinary. The untouchable man is iron. He speaks when silence has done its work. He acts only when the outcome favors him. He never reveals his full strength. He is both fox and lion, both shadow and flame. And because he is unreadable, others hesitate. They fear his silence more than they fear another's threats. They fear his calm more than they fear another's rage. This transformation begins with small victories. Each time you discipline your tongue, you gain ground. Each time you master your mind, you gain ground. Each time you restrain your mood, protect your money, maintain your mask, sharpen your strategy, you rewrite the code of who you are. Slowly, weakness dies. Slowly, strength replaces it. Then one day you realize you no longer react like the herd. You no longer live like them. You have become something rarer, harder, sharper. Machiavelli warned that fortune shifts like a flood, unpredictable, merciless. But the untouchable man is not destroyed by floods. He adapts. He bends without breaking. He turns obstacles into tools, betrayal into lessons, setbacks into strategy. His enemies look for cracks, but find only steel. His allies look for weakness, but see only command. And yet, do not confuse untouchable with cruel. The untouchable man does not waste energy on petty revenge or mindless cruelty. He is efficient, precise. His discipline spares him from wasting strength. His power is too valuable to scatter on trivialities. He strikes when necessary, and when he strikes, it is final. This is the paradox. The untouchable man is feared, but he does not seek fear. He is respected, but he does not beg respect. He is loved by some, hated by others, but never dependent on either. His identity is not in their hands. It is in his own. Transformation also requires patience. You cannot reprogram your mind in a day. Each choice is a brick. Each act of self-command is another wall in your fortress. At first, the walls are fragile, but over time, they harden. And one day, the fortress is complete. Then, no insult can tear it down, no betrayal can breach it, no failure can burn it. Picture it, walking into a room and knowing no man can shake you. Losing money, but not losing composure. Facing betrayal, but not losing strategy. Enduring storms, but standing taller after each one. That is untouchable. And when you become this, you gain an aura. People sense it. They may not understand it, but they feel it. They hesitate before crossing you. They respect you even in silence. This is not fantasy. It is discipline. It is repetition. It is strategy. It is the culmination of everything Machiavelli whispered through history. Control yourself, and you will control the world. Declare it now in the comments. I am untouchable. Write it as your oath. because this transformation begins the moment you claim it. 10. The call to power. This is the final step. The summit. The moment where everything you have learned must fuse into one law. Power is not given. Power is taken. And if you do not take it, someone else will take it from you. The call to power is not a whisper. It is not gentle. It is not a polite invitation. It is a demand carved into reality itself. Rise or be ruled. Every man faces this choice. Most choose to kneel because kneeling is easy. Rising is painful. Rising is bloody. Rising requires you to cut away weakness piece by piece until nothing soft remains. But you have walked through these lessons. You have learned to control your mouth, to discipline your mind, to master your mood, to command your money. You have understood masks and perception, embraced cold psychology, built fortresses in isolation, sharpened ruthless strategy, and begun the transformation into the untouchable. All of this was training. All of this was sharpening the blade. And now the blade must cut. The call to power means stepping beyond theory and into action, speaking less, moving with precision, executing what others only talk about. The world does not reward intentions, it rewards results. The herd will talk forever about dreams, goals, wishes. The untouchable man acts, quietly, relentlessly, without fanfare. His results speak so loudly that the world cannot ignore him. Understand this, the call to power will cost you. Comfort will die. Weak friendships will crumble. The crowd will resent you because your rise exposes their cowardice. But let them resent. Let them hate. Their noise is proof that you are becoming what they cannot. The lion is never disturbed by the barking of dogs. Machiavelli warned that fortune shifts like a flood. The weak are swept away screaming. The strong build dams, redirect rivers, and turn chaos into opportunity. This is your task, not to wait for calm waters, but to thrive in storms, to see every setback as a test, every betrayal as training, every obstacle as fuel. The call to power is not answered in comfort, it is answered in fire. And when you answer, the transformation completes. You become the man who no longer asks, no longer waits, no longer hopes. You become the man who decides. You dictate terms, you shape reality. You do not adapt to the game, you rewrite the game. That is the essence of power. This path is not for everyone. Most will hear these words, nod their heads, maybe even write a comment, and then return to distraction, weakness, obedience. They will never taste true power because they lack the discipline to claim it. But you would not be here if you were like them. You feel the hunger, you feel the fire, you are ready to rise. So I ask you now, will you kneel or will you rise? Will you stay as you are, or will you reprogram yourself into something greater, sharper, harder? Will you stay clay, or will you forge yourself into iron? If you are ready, declare it one final time in the comments. I answer the call to power. Make it your oath, because oaths, when spoken with conviction, burn themselves into your mind. This is not just another video. This is your initiation, your moment, your call to rise. Before you leave this fortress, like this video, subscribe to Mental Fort and turn on notifications. This is where warriors are forged. This is where the untouchable are trained. This is where you will return again and again to sharpen your mind and harden your will. The world is chaos, the herd is weak, fortune is ruthless, but you, if you choose, can become untouchable. You can become the fortress, the strategist, the lion, the fox, the ruler of yourself, and, eventually, much more. The call has been made. The question is not whether it exists. The question is, will you answer?